Oh, so we have to talk about the Las Vegas UFO crash and beings wandering around story. This is nuts. Like 9 or 10 foot tall beings with huge eyes in this Las Vegas family's backyard. Cops show up. There's the UFO on video. So let's discuss. Get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, and share on social media. All right, here's the shortest news piece I could find about it, so let's just give it a listen.
It's almost midnight on May 1st when a Las Vegas Metro police officer's body cam catches this, something flashing low in the sky.
911 emergency.
Minutes later,
there's like an 8-foot person.
So yeah, like some sort of green amorphous fireball kind of thing. I've never seen a UFO quite like it. I've heard a lot of tales about, or not a lot, but there's a consistent species of UFO that gets seen, which is a fireball. And it almost looks like a shooting star or crashing to Earth or something. But this is green and it seems to be changing direction and stuff. Very interesting. Very interesting. And okay, here's the witness actually talking about the beings themselves.
Beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Someone calls 911 reporting two large figures in their backyard.
No, I'm still nervous right now.
The 8 News Now investigators obtaining another officer's video as he's sent to the Northwest Valley home.
Let's take another look at that crazy
It's almost midnight
UFO.
on May 1st when a Las Vegas Metro police officer's body cam catches this, something flashing low in the sky.
911 emergency.
Minutes later,
There's like an 8-foot person.
Yeah, and he says 8 foot here. I've seen an interview with either him or one of his family members who were describing the beings. And they are now saying more like 9, maybe even 10 feet tall. So anyway, very large beings in their backyard. The cops have previously, earlier that night, seen the UFO. And so when they show up, they're aware of the reality that there was a UFO. And residents in the neighborhood are likewise saying they saw this thing. The family members are, in the general consensus seems to be that it crashed in their backyard or something. But there doesn't seem to be a physical craft available for inspection. It is interesting to note that with the police camera footage, the body cams, when they go into the backyard, they refuse to show the footage of what was in the backyard. They say because it's private property and they don't show that. So is that a dodge? Are they hiding something? Or is that just a legal thing that they are required to do? I don't know. So let me know if you have some legal opinion on that. Let me know in the comments below, because I would love to know if that's a cover-up or if that's just the way it is. Either way, so the cops show up. They interview the family. They go in the backyard. They're interviewing the residents of the neighborhood, getting these corroborating reports of people indeed seeing a UFO in the area, flashing by overhead. I don't know if they all saw a green amorphous fireball like we saw in the video or not, but at any rate, there multiple people are seeing this thing. I'm skeptical that it crashed in the backyard because I think that it'd be hard to conceal that. The family members don't talk about any debris or any vehicle in the backyard. So I don't think it crashed exactly. Maybe it broke up and, spilled some occupants out. Maybe that would explain the fiery, unstable nature of the object that we're seeing in that video. On the other hand, there is like that species of UFO that I mentioned called the fireball UFO. And, they look like a fireball, which would, by definition be more of an unstable shape. So maybe that is its normal shape. But at any rate, whether it crashed or not, the beings were deposited. I think there are 2 of them in the backyard, 8 or 9 foot or 10 foot tall even. Big eyes, big mouths, apparently, which is not something you typically get. I haven't seen any artist rendition of these things. I don't know what they really look like. The interview that I heard was like a fairly long, like 30-minute interview with one of the residents of the house. One of the witnesses, he's trying to describe this thing, but I still don't have a very clear picture of what this being looked like, other than it was very large and it had very big eyes and weirdly a big mouth, which is not something you typically get. Usually beings have very small mouths. And yeah, so look at this. So it's got it's the light, and then what is that? I don't know what that is. Is that just a street light? No, that's part of it. Or is that it? Okay, so that's just the street light or something, and that's the fireball, the green fireball, kind of moving, changing directions. Can't decide where it's going. Look at that. That is really interesting. Let's get that in motion. See, it's like going one way, then it goes down. So is that when it went out of... Yeah, see that? Let's do that again. Because it looks like it was like going in one direction, and then it started to go down. Is that when it lost its engine or something? Yeah, so it was going there, and then it went down. So it changes direction, whether intentionally or because it lost power and that's why it crashed. I don't know. Now, about what happened afterward, apparently there were several Suburbans circling the block before the police arrived. And I'm imagining that the police arrived fairly promptly. You know, I think the average is like 7 minutes or something. I don't know what it is in Las Vegas. Let's say 15 minutes. So, let's get some clarification on that. That's just a guess. But before the police arrived, there were suspicious Suburbans circling the neighborhood. So these are, of course, the men in black. And, whatever program they're actually with, who knows? And, I'm sure there's the men in black that do only suppression and intimidation that I think of as the men in black. And then there's another group that does these retrievals and stuff that I'm just going to call the men in black. They're all in the same game, all under the same umbrella, as far as I'm concerned. They may even, one man in black may be doing a retrieval one day and an intimidation the next. Very possible. So they could indeed be the same people. Either way, they were circling the neighborhood. They knew where these beings were, whether it was a crash or, whether they jumped out of the UFO because it was about to explode or go into another dimension, unexpectedly, and they just had to get out of there. Their warp drives were going crazy, and they were about to catapult them into another dimension or a black hole, and they just bailed out. And that's why there's no crashed vehicle that the residents were able to see. Who knows? But either way, the beings left, and the Suburbans were circling the neighborhood, and that's the last we know of them at the present. I'm assuming that the Suburbans picked them up, the men in black picked them up. I don't know if they picked them up willingly or not, if they were all in it together and the aliens said, hey, there's our ride, let's jump in, or if the men in black had to taser them and wrestle them into the Suburbans. Taser, I'm using that, as an expression. God knows what they actually do, but so that's the story. That's all we know so far. Did they, this is in Las Vegas. So did they then, give the beings a ride back to Area 51? You let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But this is a juicy story. This is an ongoing story. Hopefully we'll get more updates ahead. I really want to know more about this. I want an artist to give a rendition of this creature, or these creatures, working with the residents and getting a really good depiction of what they saw. Was it a tall white? Possibly. They're tall. They are more human looking, so their mouths are probably bigger than a gray alien. You know, I don't know, but it's a juicy story. I will let you know if I hear any updates. If you see any updates, please let me know in the comments below. Let me read what it says in the article. On April 30th at around 11:50 p.m. in Las Vegas, Nevada, a Las Vegas Metro police officer spoke to a citizen on the street before briefly seeing something streak across the night sky. The UFO shines brightly as it moves above, and the unexplained phenomenon caused the police to launch an investigation. Within an hour, a man called the police to say he saw something fall from the sky and saw two figures moving in his Northwest Valley backyard, according to an 8 News Now report. During the call to the police, the individual described the figures as aliens and said they could have been between 8 feet and 10 feet tall. He described them as having big shiny eyes and large mouths. There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one is inside, and it has big eyes, and it's looking at us, and it's still there. The dispatcher asked where the figures were on the property and attempted to get more information. In my backyard, he says, I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually, we're terrified. They're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 foot, 10 foot tall. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes, like I can't explain, and big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're not human. They're 100% not human. So if he had time to call the police, didn't he have time to snap a few cell phone pictures or videos? Now, that's something that you hear, from experiencers frequently, is that they don't have the presence of mind to take a picture or a video. It's as if something has disabled their thought processes and they can't actually, even think of taking a picture or a video. On other occasions, experiencers will be summoned from their house. They just knew to go outside and to begin taking a video, and that's where an object will appear. So if they don't want you to take a video, you don't take a video. If they want you to take a video, you take a video. Now, I think sometimes they do get caught off guard, and you can take a video without their knowledge or permission, but that is, a repeated pattern that you see. After the call, the police went to the family's home and questioned them about the incident, also telling them one of the officers saw something bright move across the sky earlier that evening. The family, speaking to the officers in person, again attempted to describe what they believe they saw. One of the individuals described the figure as a big creature, 10 feet tall. After the Las Vegas police officer said his partner saw a bright light, 2 of the 4 family members speaking to the police said they also saw something similar in the sky. The body cam footage shows one of the officers attempting to ask a motorist whether they saw any unusual bright lights in the sky, while stating it may come across as a really dumb question. The police investigation was reportedly unable to determine what occurred. It did not conclude whether the 2 events are connected. So nothing really new there, but I did want to read it, and there are, I guess, a few little new details in there. So anyway, that's the story, guys. This is developing a story. I'm sure there will be more information coming on. Again, if you see it before I do, let me know, because this is potentially the Virginia Brazil case of America. We have beings wandering around a heavily populated area. Potentially, there are more witnesses. And who knows, those beings could still be on the loose. So, let me know your thoughts. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below in the description. Love to see you guys there. There are plenty of other videos to check out on the channel. So until next time, this is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.